I'm going to try my best to make this quick. I wanted to sort of like just elaborate a bit more on the pro-black thing, but it's more about the definition. Pro-black, to me, it means somebody who puts the good of their race before other races, above and beyond. Being pro-black means wanting people of the African diaspora to be united and go against the adverse effects of colonialism. Pro-black is black love. It is black unity. It's understanding that black is every shade. Black is many different nationalities and ethnicities. Pro-black is trying to teach the truth about black culture, black history, black spirituality. It's wanting to uplift the black community and working to see that it's actually done. Being aware of the plight of the black race and not just screaming, white supremacy. Being pro-black to me means understanding who your enemy is, why they're your enemy, and expecting nothing less from them. You know they're the enemy. What do you expect? And stop confusing the black woman for the enemy. Understanding how awesome and beautiful it is to be black in every form of blackness, shade, admixture. Being pro-black is about actually having a genuine love for other black people. You realize that the beauty of stars will never be seen without black, without darkness. Being pro-black is about fighting for black people, uplifting black people, even when it's not the popular thing to do. It's about educating yourself so you can educate others. Even when you get these Uncle Toms that try to attack you and tell you not to be so extreme because, oh, white folks might get offended. You better chill, yo. But you keep speaking the truth regardless. Being pro-black is about even when other black people put you down, go against you, tear you down, make videos about you, you still continue to love your community, regardless, no matter how much it hurts you to do so. No matter what people say, no matter how many people try to discourage you, you keep going. Being pro-black is about black survival. It's about wanting black political parties, think tanks, corporations, foundations, a black media, banking, and black financial groups. Being pro-black is about being committed in every single aspect of the pro-black doctrine. Being pro-black is a movement, the Black Power movement. Being pro-black means being committed to teaching these same skills to your children for the exact same reasons, for the same requirement, for actively seeking out ways to improve the condition that black people are in. Being pro-black it's about truly caring about the issues of black people, wanting to eradicate colorism within your own community. Being pro-black is about creating unity within the community and not causing division. If a biracial person wants to embrace their black genes, it's about showing support as a family. It's not about saying, you're not black enough, you're only half black. It's about true support. Being pro-black is about acknowledging and fighting against the issues that hold us back, stop us, and not even allowing them to hold you back, hence fighting against them. If you're pro-black, you support the black race as a whole. Regardless of where you're from, regardless of your shade, you support black causes, period. You want to see and actively try to help the black community prosper economically by shopping at black businesses, employing black people, keeping industries that were made by black people exclusive to black people. You're more concerned about black people's feelings and social advancement than other races. And of course, you love being black. You're supposed to have a positive view of your own race and don't believe all of that white supremacist trash. It's just like Asian people. In my opinion, Asian people are pro-Asian. Why? Their community is all about them. They employ other Asians. They marry within their community. They buy Asian products. They put their community first above all. That, to me, that's incredible. That's what you call pro-Asian. It's the best example of what pro-black would be, could be, should be. Pro is to be proactive. So actively working to help facilitate black success. It's about working in your own way with a commitment. Look at the word commitment. Maintaining, trying to preserve and restore the black family. You got to have love for all black people. People claim to be pro-black, and then they go and call women hood rats or ghetto or whatever, right? That's not pro-black. I'm my brother's keeper. Yeah, you have to be. Pro-black is when you see a black person doing something wrong and you defend them in front of other races. But then in the privacy of your own home, your unit, your sanctuary, you put them in line and show them the error of their ways. You discipline them if necessary, but you do it behind closed doors. It is exactly like a family, discipline the way you're disciplined with your family. You don't air out your dirty laundry in public. It's like when your mom would tell you, wait till I get you home, right? Like, she not gonna act out in public, but as soon as you get through that door, your ass is in trouble. Being pro-black is loving your people so much that you want your children to look like you and to be proud of being black. Being pro-black means being with another person who's considered black. If you thought you were pro-black, but you're with a white person, then you can be racially aware, but you're not pro-black. Pro-black equals black love and raising successful black kids to better the community. I could probably end this discussion right here, right now, very quickly in regards to, can you be pro-black and date outside of your race? You're pro-black, but you date a white person, or even an Asian person, or an Arab person, somebody non-black. That's like being a vegan, but you eat meat. A devout Muslim who eats pork. A health-conscious fitness freak who eats junk food. A lesbian that likes dick. A butcher who's anti-animal cruelty. A feminist who likes being sexually objectified. A Trump supporter who believes in equality. A white supremacist that loves black people. A pro-black conscious man who disrespects black women. All of these are oxymorons. And so is a pro-black person that's in a relationship with a non-black person. If you're pro-black, you love black. You want to buy black. You want your partner to be black. It's as simple as that. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no I support X, Y, and Z. You can list as many black activists that had non-black partners and say, but weren't they pro-black? No, they weren't. They were down for the cause. They cared for their people. But as you can see in this video, being pro-black is a little bit more than just saying you're pro-black. You have to embody the pro-blackness completely, wholeheartedly. Wearing an ankh around your neck doesn't make you conscious. Throwing your fist up doesn't make you pro-black. And reposting Malcolm X quotes doesn't make you woke. There's a difference between being pro-black and just wanting equality and respect for everybody. Being pro-black means you want equality and respect for everyone too, but you want it for your community first and foremost. Black before and above everything else. Black first. Like Dr. Layla Africa said, black first, everything's black, everything else has to go until you sort out your own shit. I don't mean to cuss, but it's true. Until you sort out your own shit. Being pro-black is about real introspection and psychological evaluation. If you're pro-black, then you can't be a hypocrite. You have to endeavor to not be, right? If you claim to be a pro-black militant brother who likes white women but hates white men, then you need to remember, you can't make a white woman without a white man. Just remember that. Being pro-black goes way beyond equal rights. It's about black consciousness. It's about your diet, not eating meat, not eating dairy. This woman said, Angel, I consider myself pro-black and I want nothing more than black love, but it's not coming my way. So am I supposed to remain lonely, or do I lose my pro-blackness if I date outside my race because, well, I'm sick of being lonely? Firstly, I just want to say, I think it's sad that so many black women feel and think there are no good black men out there, when there really is. But to answer her question, a pro-black person wouldn't even entertain the idea. Why? Because they believe wholeheartedly in black love and have faith. Black love is a major part of being pro-black. It's like saying a vegan who can no longer afford to buy raw food and vegetables, or who decides to save money by buying cheap meat. Are they still considered a vegan? No. Or a runner who breaks his leg and can no longer run or compete anymore, so they become a coach, right? Are they still considered a runner? No. They used to be, but now they're not. They may be in support, but they're no longer proactive. It's like, for example, I support the New York Knicks. I'm a fan, right? I'm a supporter. I don't play for the Knicks, so I'm not proactive. I don't play a role. Now, If you're dating outside of your race, then your partner would need to fully understand black issues, right? They need to be aware and accepting of white privilege. They have to understand that it does exist and that they themselves, being a white person, well, they benefit from it in an incredible way. You also have that whole conflict of interest situation. You love your white partner, right? If there was a race war and you were considered pro-black, but you dated a white person, what would you do? Because in defense of what in a war would be the enemy, you would in turn become the enemy, right? It'd be like a catch-22 situation. You defend your partner and be seen and deemed as the enemy, or do you turn against your partner and then feel like you're being disloyal? And that's just the race war analogy thing, but look at it. Like, there's a certain aspect of militancy that goes with being pro-black. If you date and marry white people, then you know what? That's your business. No one else's. But you are going to be judged if you claim to be pro-black. Like, there's this thing, for example, some gay people will say someone's not gay if they're bisexual. And those same bisexuals may feel that they're gay, they feel they're gay or whatever because they're doing gay stuff, right? But their actions don't embody the whole gay thing, I guess. Or if you claim to be a Muslim but you eat pork, you don't go to the mosque, and you sin a hell of a lot. Other Muslims who follow the rules and who are pious will look at you and say, no, you're not a Muslim. Let's look at people that are pro-Jewish, pro-Pakistani, Chinese. They could live in the most remote communities with like only a sprinkling of their community, right? But they make sure when it comes time for marriage and dating, that they're dating and marrying within. So when you have these black women or these black men that say, I just can't find, the right black person or whatever. Well, other people manage to do it. It is possible. And you don't have to compromise. The reason that these other communities manage to do it is because they believe in the progression and the solidification of their communities. And they understand that the foundation of those things means their community has to remain unified. My cousin said to me once, he said, you can't be pro-black and knee deep in white pussy. It just doesn't work. It cancels each other out. And I laughed, right? But it's true. Someone said to me, I think it was yesterday, they were talking about Hugh P. Newton was pro-black, but he was shacked up with a white girl. Sometimes we really have to do our research before we speak. Huey P. Newton had a white girl paying his rent, right? But he was in love with Elaine Brown. And that was a very militant black woman. He did some crazy stuff and some stuff that went against his ideologies and would appear hypocritical. But like he said, he did what he had to do for the cause, regardless. Huey was down. He was down before he even created the Black Panthers. He used to be a pimp, but he said he never pimped black women because he couldn't do it. So he only pimped white women. But then he stopped because he had a weakness for women, period. Now, Elaine Brown, she did what she had to do for the cause too. Like, how you think Huey got that penthouse? Elaine, she stuck with some rich men for him, some rich white men for that dude. When the money started like dropping or whatever, that's when Huey did what he had to do with white chicks for rent, and that was for a little while. This is just simply the facts about what happened there within the Black Panther thing. But at that whole time when everything was happening, he was in love with Elaine Brown. And I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was married to Gwen Fontaine at the same time, right? But all of those pro-black and militants that I know, the ones that I know personally, male and female, they're truly down for the cause. And they don't date outside their community. It's not about preaching hate. It's about preaching love for your community and the continuation of your community before anything else. Someone said to me, but Angel, you're a product of interracial relationship. Well, let me make a big correction first. I'm not, all right? Someone who's a product of interracial relationship or who's biracial is two whole separate races combined. White and black, or white and Asian, or black and Asian, whatever, right? My mother is triracial. She's an admixture of African, Taino, and Spaniard. She's considered an Afro-Latina. She's mixed with black. She's a mixed race woman. My father is straight black. And I think sometimes people get confused when they see a light-skinned person and automatically think, they're biracial. Well, it's not always the case. Her incorrect statement that if someone was a product of an interracial relationship, that they could not be pro-black and they would have to be in support of interracial coupling. She was claiming a biracial person shouldn't be pro-black, or they couldn't. Well, I want you to look at something. This might be an extreme analogy, but to me it makes sense. I don't want anyone to get offended. It's just a very extreme analogy. If God forbid, you were a product of rape, would you have to be in support of rape? I mean, after all, without rape, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have been born, right? Right? Or what if you were a product of a drunken one night stand? Would you have to be in support of it? Would you? My point is, just because you're a product of something doesn't mean that that defines you or you have to be in support of it. You didn't choose who your parents are or how they brought you into this world. Just because your mom was a heroin addict doesn't mean you have to be. A biracial person who chooses to become pro-black has merely shown more love towards their dominant side or the side that they feel most connected to. Like, there's a lot of biracial people who just simply have a much stronger connection to their black side than their white side. Some biracial people just, well, they feel more black than they do white. There's nothing wrong with being pro-black or militant, but you just have to recognize that being pro-black makes you pretty serious about the whole situation. It's purely for the advancement of your people, educating your community in a positive way. The main thing, the cornerstone of pro-black ideology is black family, a cohesive black family. So if you're not about that, then you're not militant and you're not pro-black. The Black Power movement was formed because of pain, struggle, oppression, self-deprecation. Black Power was a reaction to not only being loathed by outside forces, outside communities, but the whole self-hate thing as well, right? And it was necessary for people within that movement to stay unified. People think that if they're told they're not pro-black, that it means they're anti-black. No, your blackness, as one woman asked me, she was like, does my blackness get removed? Your blackness is not at question. Yeah, you're black. Like, that's not a question. Your love for your culture, your race is not a question. It's just you're not pro-black. This goes to some of the brothers who claim militancy. You have to embody it to the core. Black money, black education, black consciousness, black spirituality, black love, black unity. That's pro-black. Like, and if either one of those are missing, then you're not pro-black. Being pro-black is pretty strict. And so many people scream pro-black because they want to be seen and heard when in reality, they're the furthest thing from it. Peace, love, and coconut oil.
Hey man, that's racist. Please remember that from now on, brand new never before seen videos, as well as live streams, will only be available on my website, ikyg.com, via a Patreon subscription. ikyg.com is a black-owned, black-ran platform, 100% free from censorship. It's the only place where we don't have to worry about what we say and expressing ourselves. Make sure you check out the description and the comment section for important links, as well as information in video form that shows you what benefits you get when you support the site and join my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe and be notified every time I upload a video. For exclusive content and perks, check out my Patreon. This is where we have private live streams, group chats, live Q&As, live phone calls, and open topics. This is a safe space where you can interact with other like-minded people, make friends, send each other direct private messages, and so much more without any trolls. And yes, you get to use GIFs and images in the live chats. So what are you waiting for? This is a completely independent website, free from censorship. If you'd like to make a donation towards the site so we can continue to put out the truth without fear of being silenced, then please hit that donation button. It's greatly appreciated. Check out the rest of the site for videos, private and public live streams, find out all the tea, and make sure to utilize the Black Money section of the website. Advertise your business absolutely free to people that look like you, free forever. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at angel_IKYG.